Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Today, we will discuss Ripple and XRP in addition to the vast majority of cryptocurrencies and financial topics. And with that, I think we can begin. Let's begin with a tweet from the creators of Ripple. We're pleased to share the news that Juniper Research has recognized Ripple with two prestigious awards, the FinTech Innovation of the Year Platinum Award and the Future Digital Awards for Sustainability in FinTech and Payments in 2023. Listen, Ripple has been on a tremendous winning streak recently. In fact, 2017 has been a banner year across the board for digital products created by Ripples. It's alright whether or not you've been following along. All throughout this year, crucial statements have been made. The reason why this is interesting is that as a matter of fact, retail interest and focus are at record lows, meaning that cryptocurrency is basically dead if you're focusing on interest rather than cryptocurrency. All of these major proclamations have been noted. Blockchain and cryptocurrency are being adopted by some of the world's largest corporations and government agencies. After all, witnessing it makes you quite optimistic about the next major cycle, so it's not to be missed. We are also aware of the rapid pace at which Ripple has been spreading. The National Bank of Georgia and them have just started working together on a CBDC trial project. Again, many respondents weighed in with criticisms of CBDCs. We know that some financial institutions, including Chase UK, have begun restricting their customers' ability to use cryptocurrencies to make purchases, and we're also aware of how much of a problem this has become. And I would argue that a sizable percentage of the population fits that description. Due to the general public's lack of awareness, thus the quotation marks, of the concept of control in relation to CBDCs, you are already subject to their sway. What you buy is subject to their approval. They can restrict your account activities. You don't even have to know what's going on. I would imagine that the primary motivation for going to a bank tomorrow and saying, "I need to withdraw $40,000, would be to pay for a $40,000 car with cash. You ask, do you know the looks and inquiries about your finances as you enter the bank? How difficult do you think it would be to make it happen? They'll hold you hostage by telling you it'll take more than 2 days to collect the money, but that's all it will take to obtain your deposit from them. Get your ridiculous withdrawal, I mean. However, they will be overjoyed if you deposit $40,000. They'll grab the cash and run. This is the problem. The main problem with banks is that customers often don't notice when money disappears from their accounts. The funny thing is that it's all a fraud and not actually your money. It's all made up because money already rules society thanks to the CPTC. Yes, confidentiality is highly valued. But, if they wanted to subpoena your bank tomorrow, they could definitely get a complete list of your banking transactions. So do we really have privacy with a bank account? That's not out of the question. Therefore, unless you're still using the old fiat currency, there isn't much to say about money and making payments while discussing privacy. It may still be possible to trace payments made with physical currency. But it's a lot safer than using digital currencies, PayPal, or your bank account, and it has the potential to solve a lot of problems. It's a source of a lot of concern. Many of them, however, are shared with CVCS, I believe. The changes are minor compared to the status quo. Of course, there are always contrasting opinions. I'll let you all do the talking and tell me what you think. The prominence of waves, though, quickly drew our attention beyond that. In the past, I've worked with audiences of hundreds. It was just this week that I made it public. I mentioned in September that Ripple was working with the Bank for International Settlements, BIS, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. Moreover, XRP is in contact with all these large institutions, and central banks pay attention to the big picture. That is the one feature of XRP that really excites me. The retail sector will be introduced to XRP in a variety of methods. Using tokenization projects and possibly a couple of other things is a good indicator that you are employing blockchain technology. XRP, hetero, or something else entirely is okay. In reference to the XRP, more than 100 applications have been found for the XRP ledger, and with the sidechain's EVM compatibility, thousands more are possible. What a fantastic development! That's a wonderful flowering of consumer acceptance at stores. The great institutional adoption that may result from Ripple, though, should not be overlooked. This is quite exciting because it suggests XRP could gain far more visibility than anyone currently anticipates. It's fascinating to speculate on XRP's potential future value after 234 or 5 years. As we learn more about it, I think the timeline for adoption will go shorter. Too many individuals, in my opinion, use Web 2 as a proxy for evaluating uptake and the market. I think that's a terrible idea since, as you probably know, the web moves slowly, albeit much faster than the Web 1 it was still adopting before. Sluggishly, with the majority of new users coming from social media sites. I thought two of the most popular ones were MySpace and Facebook. In the end, Twitter did wind up being dominant. In my opinion, payment apps will constitute a sizable percentage of Web3's overall uptake. Another exciting thing I think will arise is centralized social media marketplaces and platforms. But beyond this wave, things have been going quite well. I've already mentioned that the Monetary Authority in Singapore has given the official Ripple's website the go light to provide digital payment token services there. As we've already established, Ripple's primary focus is on serving the APAC business community with usable Bitcoin solutions. Keep in mind the discussion we just had regarding businesses and corporations. The rate of widespread implementation of this will skyrocket. To benefit from the untapped potential of this sector's underlying efficiencies. More than half of the world's commercial finance leaders are learning about cryptocurrencies now. This should not be mistaken with the news made in June of this year, which indicates that Ripple has been granted permission to offer digital asset services in Singapore. This was done, once again, to help the XRP on-demand liquidity company scale. What makes this different now? Even Brad Garlinghouse was overjoyed by the efforts of the Ripple team. For our digital payment token services in Singapore, we have recently acquired the necessary major payment institution license. The Singaporean government's in-principle approval came just 4 months ago. In a minute, I'll tell you why this is major news. First, though, I should mention that the tail is just the right length. Do I get it right? Not that out of the ordinary. The MA has apparently given Ripple's application for an MPI license preliminary approval as of early this year. After 4 months of hard work, the Singapore branch of Ripple, Ripple Markets APAC, has been granted a full MPI license to provide services in Singapore that accept digital payment tokens. This license is a big step forward in the general adoption of digital assets because it proves the usefulness of crypto solutions for businesses and banks. For this reason, corporations and financial institutions in Singapore can take use of cryptocurrencies for cross-border payments, crypto, liquidity, and central bank digital currencies thanks to the country's reputation as a leader in the development of legislation for digital assets. Since 2017, when it became the hub for our Asia-Pacific operations, Singapore has played a crucial role in all of Ripple's business dealings across the world. I apologize. By recruiting top people and establishing strong local management, we were able to increase our staff by 100% in the past year. And in such a progressive nation as Singapore, we plan to continue growing our footprint. Under the guidance of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, which has struck a balance between innovation, consumer safety, and responsible growth, Singapore has emerged as one of the world's leading hubs for fintech and digital assets. This is great, again. And if we examine Singapore more closely, we can see that it has grown into a significant hub. By the way, the world's foremost financial experts agree that virtual currencies are here to stay. 90% anticipate blockchain and digital assets to have major or moderate effects on economics, finance, and society over the next 3 years. More than half of Asia and the Pacific's financial experts plan to use cryptocurrencies for international transactions. The use of digital payment methods will continue to grow in Asia and the Pacific. By 2025, Ripple plans to continue prioritizing the adoption of its international payment solutions in this sector, where the number of cashless transactions is predicted to increase by more than 109%. Once again, it was obvious why Singapore had become so popular. What makes this a crisis though? Well, on June 30th, leaders from Ripple will share their vision for Asia's future. After a fruitful licensing effort in Singapore, not much out of the ordinary is spoken about on-demand liquidity, but after that comes the Q&A session. As you can see, MAs have given their initial approval to the MPI license. What repercussions does that have on standard business procedures? As for our current activity in Singapore, we now have regulatory clarity thanks to the clearance. As a result, we can offer our customers in Singapore and throughout the APAC region regulated digital payment token products and services, allowing us to scale our support for and facilitation of the use of on-demand liquidity by those customers curious about blockchain and digital asset technologies for their cross-border payment and treasury use cases. Again, this is important to note now that we're on the ground. We attribute the rise in on-demand liquidity flow in Asia and the Pacific to the fact that customers there are eager to gather knowledge about blockchain and digital assets. In order to expand our operations and provide stronger support for these forward-thinking clients, we need this MAF certification so that we can work toward building a more inclusive and global financial system. Down here, we can see when the full license is expected, which is also the case with this license. In theory, obtaining MAS clearance necessitates satisfying a number of conditions. We must fulfill all of the prerequisites in order to obtain a license. Therefore, we are working around the clock to meet the criteria. It could take anything from 6 months to 9 months, depending on the past patterns of license approvals. They've successfully seized control of it. Specifically, what plans do you have for new hires and capital investments to increase city capacity? Investing in people's potential is a top priority. Even though they have now begun to acknowledge the significance of hiring outside the United States. Instruction in effective methods. There was also talk of using electronic payments. When taking a more holistic view of Singapore, the fact that they have a full license is essential since it allows them to focus on all of their initiatives concerning digital assets, and even XRP, within the Singapore region. We already know Singapore has spent a lot of money on cryptocurrency, so I expect to see some major improvements soon. Take it from me, Singapore is fully invested in the Bitcoin market. You may have heard that on October 1st, Coinbase and Ripple both received their respective large payment institution licenses. In addition, on October 2nd, a cryptocurrency bank, GSR, acquired a full license from Singaporean regulators to offer brokerage services in the Bitcoin market. The city-state of Singapore is making strides in the blockchain competition for digital assets as enterprises there expand. Exactly what was I saying? As I have indicated many times before, there is a global competition among financial institutions to adapt and eventually deploy blockchain-based services. Incredibly, we are now living through the great blockchain race, with competitors employing state-of-the-art technology in a fashion reminiscent of the 60s space race. Again, this is something we can anticipate. Yes, you correctly guessed that I mean elsewhere than Singapore. We are well aware of the great potential for major nations like the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, Hong Kong, and Singapore to emerge as crypto hubs. Everyone covets the various locations that exist. India has also mentioned the potential importance of cryptocurrency in their own system. This means that the rate of adoption will increase as we learn more about it. It's up to you if you want to believe that, since that's the nature of the race. All of these claims, however, appear to have been made simultaneously. All the major blockchain-based and digital payment systems in Singapore are involved, as is their acceptance and implementation. They are aware that a race has begun among those who have long desired this sort of technological advantage. That being said, I genuinely pray you enjoyed my video. If so, please subscribe for updates and give it a like. See you later, bye.